If you think the global AI revolution is going to be a smooth ride, think again. This week brings news that the world's most popular AI assistant is being investigated for its carbon footprint and water usage by the United States Environmental Protection Agency, or EPA. The agency has reportedly sent a letter requesting information about the environmental impacts of large language models to 7 major companies, including Google, Amazon, Microsoft, and OpenAI. This follows a complaint filed in April under the U.S. Environmental Impacts Act. We've linked to the complaint below if you want to have a look. The letter requests information on greenhouse gas emissions from the training and operation of LLMs, which are large language models, as well as the amount of water used for cooling purposes during the training process. The deadline for responses is September 18. So why is the EPA taking such an interest in AI? Well, it turns out AI is thirsty and it's putting out a lot of carbon. Researchers estimate that just one training cycle of GPT-4, the AI model behind ChatGPT, consumed over 130,000 liters of water. That's enough to fill up 50 million plastic water bottles. The training process also reportedly generated 250,000 metric tons of carbon dioxide, equivalent to the annual emissions of 500,000 average Americans. Unsurprisingly, the hardware used for AI training consumes vast amounts of energy. In fact, recent research suggests that AI contributed to a 300% increase in electricity use in the US in 2022 alone. And this trend is expected to continue, with some estimates suggesting that AI could account for a quarter of all electricity consumption by 2026. Unsurprisingly, big tech is trying to skirt new legislation like the U.S. Environmental Impacts Act, which would force them to disclose their carbon footprint. Amazon Web Services, for example, has argued that the EPA lacks authority to regulate AI systems as they are not products as defined by the Act. The company claims that the EPA's request for information is overly burdensome and seeks to influence the agency's rulemaking process through backdoor means. However, other industry insiders argue that increased regulation is inevitable and urge companies to embrace the opportunity to shape these discussions proactively. There's even a non-profit organization called the Climate AI Initiative, which was founded by former executives from Google and OpenAI to promote best practices for climate-friendly AI. So far, the initiative has attracted over 70 member organizations. Of course, many argue that these efforts are simply greenwashing, and the real solution lies in transitioning away from large-scale industrial AI altogether. Indeed, AI's carbon footprint is already having real-world impacts. For example, researchers in India have reported an increase in local temperatures due to the proliferation of data centers in the region. What's more, these facilities consume over 30% of the country's electricity supply, straining the grid and exacerbating power shortages. In Europe, where energy consumption is already curtailed due to Russia's invasion of Ukraine, the situation is even more dire. Germany, for example, has seen its energy costs skyrocket by over 400% since last year, largely due to the energy-intensive training of AI models. As a result, German lawmakers are calling for a complete overhaul of the country's data center strategy, with a particular emphasis on curbing the energy consumption of AI. To make matters worse, there's evidence that AI's environmental impacts are being underestimated. A recent study found that the actual carbon emissions from AI training are often significantly higher than reported figures due to the use of indirect energy sources, such as purchased electricity and fossil fuels for backup generators. The true cost of AI, therefore, extends beyond the direct emissions from data centers, encompassing a much broader range of environmental impacts. It's clear then that AI's thirst for energy and water is posing significant challenges around the world. While big tech may try to brush it under the carpet, it's a problem that cannot be ignored. Regulators and policymakers must take action to ensure that the AI revolution does not come at the expense of our planet. If not, we may find ourselves in a world where the benefits of AI are enjoyed by few, while the rest of us bear the brunt of its environmental impacts. What do you think? Is AI's carbon footprint a problem that needs addressing? Or are concerns over its environmental impacts overblown? Let us know your thoughts, and thank you for watching. Don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss out on our latest videos.